everybody. Welcome to the South Australian Sports Show. I hope you can stay with us for the next hour. We have got plenty coming up on the show. Michael Aish is going to join us, talk about his new academy. Isaac Humphries from the 36ers in to have a chat also about his concert coming up next weekend. John Casey, one of the great commentators, in with some of his stories. He's got a couple of absolute beauties to share with us. Paul Pezzo and Nicholas Booker, the vice-captain from Adelaide City, coming in to talk about their grand final win. First one in 11 years, or it's been 11 years since their last one. And as always, the superstar of the swimming pool here in South Australia, Britt, joins me. Britt, how are you?
Great to be here once again.
There's been a fair bit happening, hasn't there?
It's been a great show, yeah. we got a lot lined up for you, and a few special guests really.
We have got a few special guests. We have. Look, I want to ask you this one. I know we're going overseas on this one, but the NFL. Tom Brady, of course, plays with Tampa Bay. Is 44 years old, the greatest probably quarterback of all time. Throws his 600th touchdown pass during the week. Yeah. It's grabbed by Mike Evans, the receiver, and normally when they play at home or when Mike gets a receives the pass, he runs off the pitch up into the crowd and hands the gridiron ball to one of their spectators, which he did with the 600 pass. Now, Tom Brady said, well, hang on a minute, I actually wouldn't mind keeping that for my collection. Yeah. So one of the trainers went over and spoke to the guy that had it, tried to get it back off him.
Most awkward conversation,
yes,
no
which
doubt.
Initially, of course, he didn't want to give it back. So they said, look, we'll get you a signed jersey, we'll get you a new footy, plus we'll give you a $1,000 voucher into the Tampa Bay store.
Pretty good.
So the young fella said, yeah, that's a pretty good sweetheart deal, I'll take it. So he takes it, they get the ball back. Tom Brady now has it, which will go into his collection. However, on the memorabilia side of things, if that ball that the young fella had his hands on and kept it, and he put it on the internet today, he would get $668,000 US dollars, $500,000 American for that footy. Do you reckon he made a mistake?
I don't know. You'd feel pretty bad keeping it. Like it's such a big thing in, like, it's Tom Brady. Like you're not, like, you don't want Tom Brady hating you because you kept the ball and then you're then going to go and sell it for money. I feel like that's a pretty dog move. But yeah, you'd sort of be kicking yourself, especially if you were the parent. Like that could set him up for life. Like, you know, get him on his way. 600 grand. It's not.
That gets you going, doesn't it? I think you did the right thing. I'm with you. I think you did the right thing because of what it meant to Tom. But imagine if you knew that at the time. You'd be sitting there going, "I'm going to need a lip ball with a $1,000 voucher," you know. Yeah. So, and I reckon Tom's made a few million over the journey. He should be able to slip in a little bit extra.
Yeah, I feel like if you were Tom Brady, you might have, I don't know, slipped him something else. Like, I don't know what else you could.
You know, that'd Hey, Danny Stevens, of course, our discus thrower at the Commonwealth Games, 2 gold medals for her at 33 years of age, announced her retirement. When do you know it's time, Britt? When do you know it's time? Big
call, that. I think for me it was, I sort of had a fair feeling it was getting to that point. I'd always said that, when the time came when I realised that the love of it wasn't there, or it was slowly, I wasn't enjoying racing as much. Like, no one really enjoys the training. Well, I know I didn't, but it's something that you have to do. But yeah, I noticed that the love for the racing wasn't there like it used to be. So for me, that was when I sort of knew I had to start entertaining the thought of, okay, what will my life look like after swimming? And it's overwhelming. It's a massive decision. How was that for you?
No, it's fairly similar, but I'd set some things along the journey. I guess I'd played a lot longer, but I'd put some things in place to avoid that happening, where I said if I wasn't prepared to do the extra training above the normal trainings, which I did, which I thought gave me an edge over the other players, that was the time to go, I need to get out. And I actually had a 3-year contract sitting in front of me to go and play in Melbourne. I looked at it and went, you know what? I don't want to do it anymore, and got out. So it was the right time for me. Anyway, talking about a bloke who's never going to retire, we need to get over to the great sports news reader, Jamie. Jamie, what have you got for us?
Thanks, guys. Let's get right into it. In AFL news, the Adelaide Crows have delisted 2 of their players, Ben Davis and Ronan O'Connor. Adelaide's list manager, Justin Reid, says that difficult decisions need to be made at this time of year, and in this case, they unfortunately must depart with 2 of their quality players. However, the Crows are considering redrafting Davis through the rookie draft, depending on the outcome of the National. Port Adelaide have picked up Jeremy Finlayson in a trade of their own with Greater Western Sydney. Having played 66 AFL games, Finlayson has averaged at 1.7 goals per match for the last 3 seasons. He will be joining on a 3-year deal with his experience, meaning that he will be a valuable second ruck option for the Power. On the local side of things, three-time AFL Premiership player Paul Popolo has signed on to play in the Adelaide Plains Football League with the Virginia Football Club in 2022. Popolo was part of Hawthorn's 3 straight premiership wins through 2013 to 2015 and spent 5 league seasons with Norwood in the SANFL. After visiting the club and being welcomed with open arms, he says that the laid-back atmosphere is what really made him want to experience playing for Virginia. Due to wanting to spend more time with family, Popolo has opted against going for another SANFL premiership with Norwood. In the races, another award took out the final race of the Vidora Series final last Saturday. The event was valued at over $100,000, taking place at Morphettville Parks. Ridden by Jason Holder, the $7 horse stormed along the outside, narrowly beating So Say Angel and Addictions. The SA National Premier League finished up last weekend with Adelaide City ending their 11-year drought by winning the championship against Comets. After a goalless 120 minutes at the Martin Sports Complex, the match closed out with a tense penalty shootout, which finished 3-2. In the Women's League, Salisbury Inter were victorious over West Adelaide, also finishing 3-2 to claim their first ever championship. And in State League 1, White City were the victors, taking down Burkalla 2-0 at Vallow Football Centre. That's all we've got for you this week. I'm Jamie Tinikoff. We've got more on the way after the break.